right, my name is Mike. I'm the founder and CEO of Top Hat. What I'd like to do is start with a quick video that will show you an example of how a professor might use Top Hat in their course and some of the impact that it can have.
I teach everything from large lecture halls to small graduate student seminars. I felt like there was a lot of improvements I could make to the teaching process. That's why I'm using Top Hat. I use it to deliver textbooks, course packs, test questions. It's an all-in-one teaching app that helps me at every stage of my courses. All of those features, to me, have just really not only benefited the student, but it's made it much more fun as an instructor. I used to use traditional textbooks, but they were outdated, difficult to customize. Honestly, my students constantly complained about paying for them. I also needed to get a technology that could really help me get students talking and engaging better. Laws change, perspectives change, so to have a traditionally written text is almost impossible. Obviously, the interactive aspect of the textbook is fantastic in terms of getting students to be able to answer questions. I'll use quizzes. It allows me to know if they're actually reading through the materials. Are they understanding the materials? I love the discussion feature. And again, I can change it if it's not working. What I like about Top Hat is that I'm really able to see the actual impact of my lectures. So it's really cool. I couldn't have done that with a textbook. There's really not any platform that I'm aware of that I can give a secure assessments that the students can take right on their own devices. It allows me to stay connected with the student while they're taking their exam. They're not tempted to go to another website because they know it's going to shut them down. And then the only way for them to get back in is for me to allow them to get back in. It was a challenge to be providing a lot of course information and then having to go to another medium to be able to deliver the exam. I use it to deliver textbooks, course packs, test questions. Now I can do it all in one place. I truly believe that with Top Hat, and if they're using that platform, they're learning how to engage and interact, and it's building their confidence. And I think they'll be able to do that more effectively in the real world.
All right, hopefully that gives you a quick overview. So as I said, my name is Mike. I'm the founder and CEO. I'm going to talk a little bit about Top Hat, what we do, and what our mission is in the education space. Before I get into that, what I'd like to talk about is how did we get here? What was the motivation for starting Top Hat, and how did we kind of get this thing started? We got started all the way back in 2009. Back then, myself and my co-founder, Mohsen Shahini, we were roommates right by the University of Waterloo. And as recent graduates, the student experience and some of the challenges that students have was pretty fresh in our minds. We remembered struggling to stay awake in class and dealing with really expensive, ineffective textbooks that felt like they were from 100 years ago. And frequently, as someone that worked my way through university and had to pay my way through, I often had to make that choice. Do I pay my rent this month or do I buy that $300 chemistry textbook? And we felt that was a choice that students shouldn't have to make. And so with that, we had this idea that something could be done about this. In particular, with the smartphones and mobile devices coming on the scene right around that time, that presented this opportunity to really transform the educational process and experience and make it much more interactive and engaging. And so we decided to start Top Hat to do that. Today, Top Hat has grown quite a bit. We've raised a fair amount of venture capital, although not, relative to the scale of the company, we've been pretty efficient. We've got users at pretty much every large university in North America now starting to scale abroad, and we're growing really, really fast. And today, Top Hat has about 300 employees working in our Toronto office. And those 300 employees are dedicated to this one core mission that really drives us day to day, which is to help professors make teaching fun and effective. And this isn't, I'd like to say this isn't just a lip service that we put up, at conferences and events. This is something, we talk about this in our board meetings, in our company town halls and events. This really is the driving force behind Top Hat. And the reason this is our driving force is because we believe this is the way to have the most impact. We believe putting the right tools and the best technology in the hands of professors is the way to have the most positive impact on the education space and thereby the world. So how do we do that? The way we do that is we've got 4 core products and a marketplace. The 4 core products consist of Top Hat Textbook, and you saw that a little bit in the video where the professor is able to author really amazing interactive materials. They're able to deliver that to their students via their own mobile devices. We've got Top Hat Classroom, which allows the professor to run activities during the lecture and engage with their students on their own mobile devices. Top Hat Assignment, which allows professors to create engaging homework experiences for the students. And finally, Top Hat Test, which allows the professor to run high-stakes exams, midterms, finals, on the students' own mobile devices in the classroom. And these 4 products are supported. They're sort of underlined by the content marketplace that Top Hat has. And the content marketplace is a community where professors are able to work together to create and develop interactive content to replace traditional textbooks. The content there is dramatically cheaper than traditional textbooks. In many cases, it's free. It includes all of the OER materials that are available out there, as well as hundreds of textbooks that now have been written by professors, the user-generated content that they've created. Traditionally, the companies that I guess that we see as competitors, and the companies that have been in this space before, are the textbook publishers. And the textbook publishers, I guess, originally started as companies that were also, I guess, arguably mission-driven and were trying to disseminate information around the world. And of course, what they've done is they've acquired a lot of different tools and technologies over the years. Mostly they've grown through acquisition. And those tools now consist of a whole range of services and technologies that professors use. So typically a professor will use a homework solution like Sapling or Applia or Mastering or whatever else. They'll use a textbook which has some sort of e-reader. They might use some sort of in-class thing. They'll use another thing for testing. All of these different tools that publishers have acquired over the years and have done a really poor job of integrating. So a professor has a really confusing experience. The student has to pay huge amounts of money for all these different tools that don't work very well together, and the situation is pretty bad. The result has been, costs spiraling out of control. This is a stat often quoted, 1,000% over the last, 30 years or so, price increase. Huge percentage of students avoiding buying course materials. I mean, this is a major problem. This is very highly correlated to students' ability to get a good grade in a course and their ability to learn. And yet students are foregoing buying those learning materials because they've become so prohibitively expensive. Which of course is contributing to a major crisis in student debt, which has now eclipsed car loans and credit card payments combined, I believe, which again it's not just a problem for education. I think it's actually a societal problem that needs to be addressed. And the cost of learning materials, textbooks, I think it's the second highest spend that the students have aside from their tuition payments. So this is an enormous contribution to this issue of student debt and the broader kind of national issue. So one of the reasons that costs for learning materials are so expensive and have spiraled out of control is because of the way that content is created. The way content has been created in the past, and this may as well be a modern picture, is through this centralized publishing process, which hasn't changed. And in fact, it's no different with the OER providers, most of the OER providers that are around today, than it is from the central publishers. So OER actually doesn't solve this problem. Because the way that content is created is generally in these large centralized processes. So publishers will run a multi-year process to create a textbook. Sometimes it can cost millions of dollars to do this. And then by the time the textbook hits the shelves, it's already out of date. And then, of course, they have to change the pages around every couple of years to make sure that the students buy the new edition. It's a frustrating and inefficient process, which was arguably the only way to deliver content 100 years ago, 50 years ago. Today, there's a better way. And in fact, we can look at other industries to get some idea of what this other way of creating content can look like. You can look at Airbnb or Lyft that revolutionized the hospitality industry. Hospitality used to be only a centralized process with these hotels, sitting in cities providing hospitality services. With Airbnb, they created a much more efficient, lower cost, better experience by providing a peer-to-peer service to provide hospitality services. And then the exact same thing with Lyft or Uber, which revolutionized the taxi industry or transportation in general by providing a peer-to-peer model. Again, where not only is it lower cost and a better experience, but most of the revenue, most of the value goes back to the creator of the service, the person who's delivering the service, not this sort of middleman agency. And that's the way to look at Top Hat. That's the way to look at the Top Hat marketplace. It provides the tools, it empowers the creators of educational content with the tools to create and collaborate on those educational materials, where most of the revenue then goes back to those educators, or for free materials, that material is completely free of charge. And this is highly disruptive to the traditional model of creating educational content. For one thing, from a company standpoint, Top Hat as a technology company, our cost of acquiring content on our platform is a fraction of the cost for another comparable company to acquire a big catalog of content. It costs us very little. We've got a community of users that are constantly evolving and developing this content. We have now thousands of professors that are advocating, millions of students that are having a great experience and advocating on our behalf, which allows us to scale and grow much more quickly and efficiently, and ultimately the content is a lot better. If you look at the content in the Top Hat marketplace, it blows your mind. It's so much better, richer, and more sophisticated than anything you could find anywhere else. That ultimately is the thing that drives a lot of outcomes. So I'd like to show you another quick video about the Top Hat marketplace that gives you maybe a more concrete visualization about how it all works.
Students learn differently today. They're digital natives, and technology is playing a much larger role in their education. So why is the content they're learning from still being created in old, outdated ways? And why is it so unaffordable? Innovative educators have tried to solve these challenges with open educational resources. It's course content for the smartphone generation. But OER is hard to find and difficult to customize, and its quality has been uneven at best. If education is going to deliver real return on investment, the content we use needs to evolve. And that's why we created the Top Hat Marketplace. The Marketplace is a digital hub where educators can create, share, adopt, and collaborate on interactive course content. 90% of the content is free for instructors and students to use, and the rest is available at a fraction of the price of traditional publisher content. In fact, our commitment to affordability has never been stronger. Instructors and their students can now use our platform for free in combination with any free content from the Marketplace. You can search for over 20,000 pieces of content in the Marketplace, from simple question packs to full textbooks loaded up with embedded questions, videos, graphs, and timelines, and curate the best of it to create a textbook that's a custom fit for your course. Spanning 20 major disciplines, the Marketplace is growing every day, thanks to a vibrant community of authors and adopters. If you like what you find in the Marketplace, simply add it to your course. Once it's added, you can customize that content to suit the needs of your course. Not a fan of a particular section? Delete it. Want to expand on certain themes? Add them in. If you don't find what you're looking for in the Marketplace, we've made it easy to write your own course materials. Using Top Hat, you can author any type of content from scratch. When you're done, you can share that content in the Marketplace for educators around the world to use in their courses. And this is where the revolutionary nature of the Top Hat Marketplace comes in. Each textbook is a living document. Anyone who adopts content can provide feedback and suggest enhancements to the authoring team, who can accept or reject the changes and push updates to new and existing users with the click of a button. Most important and groundbreaking is our vision for community in the Marketplace, where educators will soon be able to provide reviews, recommendations, and share best teaching practices worldwide. Because Marketplace content is crowdsourced, we can keep the cost of course materials low. Top Hat Marketplace community members are pioneers at the forefront of a revolution. We're proud to be on this mission together. Together, we're going to make education more engaging, affordable, and ultimately, more effective.
I'm running a little bit low on time, so I'll get through this quickly, but I'll be around after this presentation if anybody's got questions. With the Marketplace and all the materials that are available there, professors can pull in content into any of those four products. And all in all, it gives this professor this one-stop shop that they can use to really transform their course into an active learning experience that ultimately drives much better student outcomes. And I can't overemphasize how valuable that ability to contribute and evolve that content in real time ends up being. We're finding that close to 90% of our professors who adopt content from the marketplace end up making substantial changes to it to customize it and make it better for their course. I think it's going to be a revolutionary way to develop content. It's going to have a huge impact on the education space. Our revenue model is pretty straightforward. We have both enterprise relationships at schools, and we go directly to faculty members who can adopt the platform and content on Top Hat, and then students buy either the content or a subscription fee to the platform as appropriate. And we're getting more and more universities actually buying in and buying licenses for the entire campus so that it becomes even more affordable for their students. Schools now have saved millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars for their students by working with Top Hat and adopting this stuff campus-wide, which we're really proud of. We're going after the big kahuna in the education space, which is that $10 billion course materials content space in higher education. Our goal in life is to take that $10 billion and turn it into a $1 billion market, and I think we'll be pretty successful at having a big chunk of that market. So there's a lot of room there to build a big business. But the goal is to make that content so much more affordable and better for students. We've been growing really fast as well. We've been doubling in size for every year for a little while now, and we hope to continue to do so moving forward. We've got tons of schools working with the best universities in the world, pretty much all of the largest universities in North America, and now starting to scale beyond. If any of you here are from university administrations, if you're looking for ways to scale OER content adoptions or low-cost alternatives in your schools, please talk to us. We're the experts at doing that. Thank you for listening to me. I'm happy to answer questions. Is this a real thing? Do I actually have 3 minutes? Oh, good. All right, great. I'll take questions. Everything was ultra clear, no questions. All right, well, sounds good. All right, thanks for your time.